footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Tyler Merkovich with the Czar Playbook, Emery Hunt, and we're bringing you the 2010 offseason team outlook for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And for the Steelers standards, they had a disappointing 9-7 year. They owned the 18th pick overall in the first round. Where could they go here? Offensive line had trouble running the ball. You know, Willie Colon's a free agent. He's 27 years old, but they love him. The D-backs also had problems. Deshae Townsend's one of their free agents. Where could you see them going?
I think their number one need is not the offensive line. I think the offensive line issues probably came due to Ben Roethlisberger holding the football too long. They had a 1,000-yard rush in Mendenhall. The other backup running backs also had over 4.5 yards a carry, so they were able to run the football when they wanted to. And they gave up 47 sacks. I do understand that, but a lot of that is due to Ben Roethlisberger holding the football long. Their number one need to me is their secondary. They need a cornerback or a safety to help out in that secondary. William Gay, he struggled a little bit. Let's just call it that. And they need some depth in that secondary. When Palomalo went down, they need another safety back there. Someone maybe like Earl Thomas, like you mentioned in your mock draft, somebody like that, or somebody like a Parrish Cox. They need to help that secondary big. That's number one. That's the number one need.
Right. Plus Ryan Clark, one of their safeties, is a free agent, and you know they really got exploited through the air last year against some teams. Hey, Casey Hampton's not getting any younger. He's 32 years old, but they drafted Ziggy Hood. You know what Pittsburgh brings to the table. That's that strong front seven. So, do they address that front seven at all?
Yes, they do. They need to go defensive end, I think. Defensive end, and you need another linebacker. I know that sounds weird, but when you run a 3-4, you need depth on that back four, which is the linebacking core, because the front three, the nose tackle, if Casey Hampton returns, that's solved. Ziggy Hood, solved. But they need two defensive ends that can apply pressure from the end spots that could tie up occupy two blockers in that 3-4 scheme. So I say go defensive end, as well as another need, linebacker another need, and they also need depth on an offensive line. They can draft some linemen late to build that depth on that offensive line.
Yeah, I think they're going to
especially guard to guard.
They're going to go offensive linemen a little later than the first or second round, I think, but they really need to address this secondary, which was a problem. Let's look back last year. Ziggy Hood, first round. Then they got a steal with Mike Wallace, which they love at wide receiver. Then they drafted a lineman out of Wisconsin, pretty high. So they should address defensive back position first and foremost, and then build on that linebacker position, maybe that defensive line, because Hampton's not getting any younger, and you always need depth in that 3-4.
Right.
So it would probably be smart to go a defensive back early.
I think defensive back, DN, linebacker, and offensive line. That's my team needs for Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. And that's our team preview outlook for the Pittsburgh Steelers. For more, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL.